Okay. Hi, Kristen.
Hi, Eleanor.
Thank you so much for joining me. And
Yes.
I appreciate so much that you've been part of this whole collaborative process. And so I just wanted to take some time to actually reflect on what we did as a team, decisions we've made, professional growth we've had, what I could have done differently, what I did well, what I didn't do well, and what the team did well, and what we could maybe moving forward, how we can improve student learning and come together on other collaborative teams for the sake of the students and their instruction, and also for professional growth of our teachers.
Okay.
So thank you.
Sounds
So
good.
I had printed up some questions for you ahead of time so that you weren't you had some time to process and think and not just be on the spot with
For
things.
sure. Okay, thank
So
you.
hopefully you had time to look over those questions.
Yes, I
All
did.
right. So first, one of the things I want to ask is, what was your overall experience as part of this collaborative process?
I think I enjoyed working with the other gen ed teachers that I don't work with on a daily basis. With special ed teachers and gen ed teachers working together, we were able to collaborate. I was able to kind of see their teaching styles, which helped me understand how that child learned. And the gen ed teachers are with them most of the time anyway. So it was nice to build that relationship with my colleagues that I don't always see during the day, but with the tutoring groups after school and everything, and in our reflections, getting to know them helped us just build as a team better.
Yeah, and I like what you said, the general ed teachers are with the students most of the time, and we
Right.
don't, as special ed teachers, always get a lot of time with the general ed teachers. And so I do think that it helped to really facilitate some relationships even, and got to see some unique learning styles.
Definitely.
So then what do you think was the best part of being on the team?
Like I said, I liked working with people that I didn't specifically know. It did create a better culture just with our inclusion teachers and special ed teachers, because they don't know all of us. They just know their case manager that year.
Yeah.
So it kind of created that, that bond, and at least they know our face. So if next year, if case managers change, like special ed's always changing, at least we've got a relationship already, and we already have worked with each other. So moving forward, it makes it easier as a campus to grow.
Yeah. I agree with you. It was really nice to see everybody work together. We don't always get that time during the school day. We
Not
get
at
so
all.
busy. As a member of the team, how are you specifically able to contribute? How do you feel like you contributed to this team?
I think I was helpful in helping maybe the gen ed teachers understand some accommodations that they can use with their students, like just as simple as putting a picture in color that draws the students' attention to what they're to be paying attention to. Just using little graphic organizers, things like that, seem to help us get on the same page, and for consistency with those accommodations to improve. Because sometimes it's like, you just give them the assignment, but this student I learned in tutoring, they use a graphic organizer. So every time I will give them a graphic organizer with their writing to help them build that paragraph. And, I think that letting them know the consistency and what accommodations may help, I think that helped the gen ed teachers implement some of those a little more consistently.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of times the general ed teachers, they're trying to accommodate for so many people all the time.
Right.
And the special ed teachers running in and say, try this or try that, and then kind of we're moving on to our next class after 30 minutes, that having this structured time that everyone is kind of focused on special ed students making progress.
Right.
Using those accommodations regularly in their intervention group just for SPED will probably get them even used to using it kind of like muscle memory in their classroom, just as what they would do.
Right. I think so too.
What about the other team members? We're not allowed to use people's names. So
Okay.
if you'll refer to them as a first grade teacher or a colleague, just don't use their name. But how do you feel like other team members were able to contribute to the team?
Okay. I think there was one team member who created data cards for each of our students, and it kind of just helped keep us organized. We knew their F&P level, we knew when they moved up,
Yeah.
and those data cards just kind of condensed everything into one card that the whole team could pull out and know exactly where this kid is at, no matter just if we picked up working with them. Another team member, she had a lot of background knowledge and did a lot of research for knowing what best reading program works with phonetics, what's a good program for teaching, if we were doing like letter ID or comprehension, whatever it was. She seemed to have a lot of knowledge in a program that was good to
She did, yeah.
to make that progress. So.
Especially with the reading, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Okay, so I appreciate all of that. So what do you think, what did I do to facilitate the effectiveness and success of the team and of our goals? And so our goal was obviously to narrow the learning gap and increase our special education population's academic growth.
Mm-hmm.
And so how did you see me facilitate the effectiveness of this group and that success?
I think you did good with you scheduled regular meetings to get our feedback, and just asked us what is working, what's not working, what can we do better, and you listened to that feedback. So if there was a change that needed to be made, you were able to implement that change. You established norms, so each meeting was run the same way. We went over issues, we went over how each of us are feeling. So I appreciated the openness of the meetings and how they made us feel comfortable to speak.
Yeah, that's good.
You defined
you.
our roles. we each had a role. So yeah, and you definitely guided our respective groups and what we were supposed to be doing for each tutoring group and each kid.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So in the same manner, then, what could I have done differently to improve this collaborative team? And moving forward, what could I do differently in my leadership to facilitate a collaborative group?
I think maybe just with us not having known, not all of us knew each other, so maybe just a little team building exercise or something on those first few meetings. But
yeah, it took a little bit to get used to knowing each other.
Yeah, but time is not not our friend. So yeah, I think that maybe just team building, and then I know we reflected a lot on what are we doing with the students, what is our implementation and everything. But maybe if we just had as a teacher, how are you growing? Maybe that type of thing, a self-reflection as a teacher. But other than that, you did great.
So maybe a self-reflection when we all came to meet. Okay, this is where I feel like I'm doing great, but can somebody help me because I feel like I'm struggling in this area?
Yes.
And maybe it would be a more of a professional growth for themselves.
Yeah, for the individual.
Yeah. That's a great point there. So let me see. What do you think, what will you do differently from being on this team and using the interventions through tutoring to promote student success? Or just, what would you do differently from being on this team for your own professional growth?
I think the things that came to light in being on this team is that, we did tutoring groups after school. So, kind of pulling those small groups with a purpose, and not with, this is the time of day we can pull them, because it's their reading time, but we pulled them according to their ability, according to their level, and it was very individualized instruction in our tutoring groups. That was something for me in planning. What do our resource groups look like next year?
Yeah.
Can we fit that in pulling them according to ability, and making our groupings just a little bit better. And then I think that we didn't take them out during core instruction. it kind of reduced that stigmatization of,
Yeah.
you know, standing up, walking with the resource teacher, or, you know, being one of two to get up out of class and go to a certain room. Like, just the fact that it happened after school, the environment seemed just more relaxed. The students seemed more relaxed, and I don't know if it was the stigmatization of, like, I'm going to a special ed room that does that during the day, or if it's just the school day. But it just seemed like the students were more open in the small groups after school.
Yeah, and I think that that's the feedback we got from quite a few teachers, is that because we really honed in on what their deficit was, and it wasn't just a mixed group of 6 to 8, maybe 10
Right.
special ed students sitting around a table, and some, their IEP goal is main idea, and some it's phonetics, but we really honed in on everyone was grouped according to what their need was.
Yeah.
And because it was after school and it was such small groups, only 1 to 1 or 1 to 2, I think that it allowed them to feel the confidence to learn and not feel the stigmatization, like you said,
Right.
of just the dumb one in the class, or the weak link, or, oh, look, everybody's looking at me walking out of the door again with the special ed teacher.
Yeah.
And I think that that's important, because so much of our learning is also how confident we can feel. If we
Yeah.
feel confident, then we're more apt to contribute to group discussions and class discussions.
Yeah.
So,
It's
did you
true.
enjoy being part of the collaborative group?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think we should do it next year. For sure.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time with this. I really, really appreciate it.
Definitely.